25 minutes, and then finally entered the rift.
Yes, but we really have to caution. So many people are like, yes, it's the farm for late. It's so crucial how much you're actually giving up, because we've seen so many failures in the late game, giving up way too much early here, even if you are relying on farming until later. Bio has been picked up for First Blood before, and Braum is definitely a champion that helps in doing it.
With adaptation, not staying in the brush like last time.
Don't be that close to cliff.
Yeah, to step further back, you will see them anyway, and then you run away is just fine. Fonza got his ward on the red buff as well, so just a little bit of information being traded.
Yeah, it looks to be about even though. G2 maybe one extra ward in the TSM jungle. In fact, see what they do with that information, because of course Svenskeren on the Ivern, you can definitely have shenanigans in those early game parties.
Looks like Nuno is starting here in the enemy red side jungle. They all split on a ward.
Start is really crucial for these as well. Ivern is easier to counter jungle.
Place the ward. So they actually like this from TSM. They're like, we don't know where you are and you have information of us, so we're not going to risk, we're just going to step away.
This is actually a poor start here for TSM. All you have to do is auto-attack Ivern to try and interrupt here. Nuno should be able to win out on this start.
Yeah, I think Sven could have gone and just started on his blue side right now.
Bottom lane is going up there to actually help him get the channel off, just to begin the jungle process.
All right, red buff secured there by Svenskeren, and looking at the lane assignments, Sven and Mythy going to jump to this bottom lane. So a lot of shenanigans by G2. Doesn't feel like it netted off though.
Well, we have to remember that G2 also setting up for a potential trap when some were stepping in to obviously activate these jungle camps. And that was avoided by TSM actually just stepping away and not risking anything.
Now with Nuno, you always do have to worry about him going back to your pre-channel camps to then counter juggle you. He can take care of them very quickly. It looks like G2 got cold feet though, and I think let's go for the safer route. Svenskeren, meanwhile, is actually going for the red-to-red.
No smite yet from him. And channel obviously on red buff, and smite will be ready in about 26 time.
Well, time to clear this out. Energy in the stadium here in Jayce Rio is electric. The Brazilians getting behind this matchup between EU and NA.
Basically, what Sven did right here was he prepped the red buff in case Trick invaded into his own red buff jungle, and we're farming there so Sven could go back and take a red.
He has to go back though before the Nuno gets there to see it. It looks like it's already finished channeling. All that he has to do now is be able to click on it.
Can get into range. Svenskaren's going to be running up. Takes a couple of trades from Trick. Manages to secure it.
But now it's about the lanes roaming in.
Trick is taking a lot of damage.
Both of these side lanes here, the solo lanes for TSM, are pushing in, so they have the priority to allow Sven to do this.
The hammer goes down, Bjergsen to the right! Not pushed backwards! T-Solo mid! Look for first blood! Plus 100 HP! Continues to run for his life, but he's running into a TSM bottom lane!
Bottom lane is pushing as well. Perkz is to go for the execute. Maybe he can find himself a little bit of fog of war to hide into.
Yeah, there's not a lot of mana here, and Bjergsen, another blast are going to be taken by Perkz. Obviously can't use the base aid. He's recalling.
He doesn't go for full execute. Will Bjergsen actually go up?
I think he will. He found him. Bjergsen finds Perkz and secured first blood.
And right here, you see some of the problems for G2 Esports. Communication between Trick and the laners. Ivern is spotted in the jungle, north of where Perkz is standing, and yet Perkz is actually still staying right in the middle of the lane, and not just flashing early when Bjergsen goes all in.
Meanwhile, in the aftermath, usually make that long of a chase this early in the game, you'll lose out on minions. However, Nuno is not very good at taxing lanes, and it's not beneficial at all to D2 there, so definitely a big start here for TSM.
That's the least action-packed replay ever. Around the corner, kill that guy. So we have this problem now for G2 where they play scale. He just gave up first blood to the Jayce, not respecting the fact that Ivern could just walk behind Perkz here. Because what you can do is as soon as Bjergsen jumps all in and he flashes, you can flash yourself and you're fine.
Exactly. No respect there for the gank set up of Jayce. And Bjergsen, with the exhaust, is easily able to get in place there.
Typically when TSM getting early advantages, they've actually been able to kind of play out the big game pretty well and keep kind of extending that advantage and get a big goal lead.
And remember, from Champion Select, this is the pace of the game that TSM are looking for.
Of course, TSM's team composition is going to be terrifying in the next 5 to 10 minutes once Horns and Bjergsen.
This vote here was actually 50-50, and then people saw the lock in and just went like, oh, better TSM.
Oh, we'll have to see who can hold this one out. 1-0 in favor of TSM. Teleport used by Expect up into the top lane, getting closer to unlocking that ultimate. A couple of control wards picked up, and just an early spot. Sven's going to use the 90 caliber backward. Takes a lot of damage from Bio, though.
Yeah, and pace of this game could get out of hand very quickly, so we should prep before things really start to light up here. The Haunter level 6 on Rumble brings so much threat. We already talked about this bottom one as well. Trying constantly pushing for Biofrost and Turtle. I'm one of the best at going and accentuating pushing lanes like that.
It is extremely good for D2 though that Cloud Drake is the first big alive here, so there might be an early fight around to kind of set up Haunter as well, and even losing that for Cloud Drake will not do a whole lot for the game right now. So that is at least a positive that obviously they couldn't prep for, but happened.
Definitely true.
RNG a little bit in your favor. You're going to have some luck at times. As we see Perkz continue to apply pressure to Bjergsen. Perkz's Orianna earlier today was fantastic, establishing a lane kingdom. A fairly favorable matchup early on, at least against Faker's Ari. This time around, though, Bjergsen having absolutely none of it. The shock blast goes just a little wide. Bjergsen continuing to stay even with Perkz at this stage of the game.
We sometimes see Jayce get picked into Syndra where you didn't rush the Hexfinger. You don't need to do that against Orianna. You're not under as much threat in terms of her all-in. So you can go straight towards that serrated Earth, which is a much bigger power spike for you early on.
And even looking at where the assist for that early goal went as well for Bjergsen. He's gone for the stacking ring here. We get a little bit of it. All right, he's gone for the stacking ring. This is a little bit of money that will delay your support item, but AP on Iron early actually is tremendously valuable for, beefing up the shield.
And of course, it just fits into the whole team for Team Solo. A little bit of an earlier spot. Expect goes the body slam forward, roasted by Haunter's overheating flame splitter. And Trick continues to jungle. About to get access to absolute zero. Sven Skiren is interrupted by an ice blast, and both supports in the river. If you look, Biofrost and Miffy doing a little bit of dance.
Yep, good reaction there from Trick. First thing you want to do is tag Ivern and stop the channel. If it completes, your buff is gone.
Well, he's sitting there now trying again, and he gets to complete it, so Trick needs to give this up again because it's the solo lane is roaming from TSM. Bjergsen moving in. Perkz, who's behind, has to just sit on tower.
Exactly. I mean, First Blood getting out the early serrated dirt, extra mana generation for Bjergsen, easily able to allow extra support here for the invade. TSM snowballing fairly well.
Now, people might wonder, why would G2, run this Nunu super defensive comp again? Well, last time these guys played each other, G2 fell behind, as we said earlier, like 10, 11k gold. And yet actually managed to sneak Baron, win a fight, get back in the game, and it ended at that Nexus race where Nexus almost died. Let's see what happens bot lane though.
Oh, Wild Earth's Hall is going forward, flashes in for the chain of corruption, equalizes burning down, but there's not a lot to follow up. Miffy and managed tag off Haunter with that Winter fight.
Big health chunk though, they should be able to take down this crit, and then the decision becomes, do they still have enough priority to be able to take the Drake as well on top of it? They have forced the Caitlyn's back, but then should be back out on the field.
Well, I want to see if Haunter can make his way back top lane instead of going for that Drake and see if they can actually defend tower. Seems like that is the case. That means now you get a tower in favor of them, nothing in favor of B2. And once again, G2 falling behind.
Rick is circling around, and Nunu plus Braum has a lot of just potential.
No action on Wild Turtle. He used it just before.
No damage from G2, so there's no follow-up. First blood to TSM. First tower blood to TSM. It's nearly 2,000 gold before 10 minutes. And remember, TSM's comp, it's a much earlier timing on when they can look to fight, force G2's hands.
That play was just set up by so many different things. There were top lane advantage, Bjergsen roaming first.
And the timing you're talking about hitting is actually right now. TSM is in it. They've used the first equalizer there to try and gain some ground. G2 will strike back and actually get that Cloud Drake, the issue that you were talking about.
Small win again for them will not help them in terms of gold. And what you really want with the scaling composition is gold to complete 1 item, 2 items, 3 items. Then you really start shining. Even Infernal Drakes are not as valuable early on as just getting 4 gold. But this leaves something, right? You get what you can.
Yeah, you can indeed. Looks for the secure off that Cloud Drake. And talking of completed items, Goat played in the mid lane for Bjergsen. Wild Turtle has already got his Blade of the Rune King. And he's just going up against components now for G2. So, G2, stop the hemorrhaging, play the wave clear game, play for 50 minutes, and hopefully don't put yourself in a scenario where you need to backdoor Nexus to win the game. That's what G2 are looking forward to.
Exactly. G2, luckily for them, their farm is actually going okay right now. Yes, the big losses on the first objectives of the first kill as well as the first hurry are hurting them. But as long as CS numbers stay okay, they still retain hope.
It's going to be tough though now for Perkz in mid, because Wild Turtle can push out this bot lane and he can actually go towards the mid lane with the Jayce, group up against Perkz, force him under his tower, then either hit the tower or go towards top lane and pressure that one, and then suddenly TSM might sit with 3 out of 2 down at 15-16 minutes. That's something that's happened against G2 Esports multiple times this tournament. They lose the first tower, and quickly the next ones follow, and they don't get anything in return.
And that could be so problematic for D2, a team that has really struggled to find consistent form. Team Solo Mid, on the other hand, an upswing. They have been getting progressively better day for day, and especially with that huge win earlier.
This move is actually very risky by TSM. They're swapping into a lane where there's some wave clear by Gragas and TP, and they're sending Haunter alone to the bottom lane. This is actually allowing G2 to maybe make a play on the bottom side.
Bjergsen looking for a little bit of a trade here on Bjergsen. Shockwave into turret though.
A lot of damage back and forth. Perkz and Bjergsen fighting evenly down in the bottom. Trick is able to zone away Haunter from the tower, and G2 are getting a lot of damage.
Yeah, Haunter plays it defensively appropriately here. You know, with the Daisy up on the top side, this turret should be trivial for TSM to finish.
G2 are trying to keep Haunter out of ulti range. He can't actually use the equalizer on the minion. That's why they're forcing him so far back. TSM though will trade for tower, but G2 will get a tower in the bottom lane, so it's not going to be the 3-0 we've seen so often.
Well, it's Vantage North America. They get the tower before G2, and that means they can continue running down the top lane. Explosive cast used by Expect. The damage is being chipped away.
If they can get this tower, yes, then it's definitely an advantage. Expect needs flash.
All right, already has, so that's an advantage. Wild Turtle takes a couple of tower shots, manages to get the trigger sheet sealed. Well, or shield, rather. Svenskeren and Wild Turtle back away. The tower survives to live another day.
Yeah, TSM should be able to retreat after that, though, even though they did take quite a large amount of damage from the turret. Monster should be able to push on this bottom side, and TSM continue to keep the pressure.
It's good that they keep the pressure. G2 Esports, though, with that play in the box side getting a tower, then we have to remember it was a trade, 1-for-1. One team is running a more early to mid-game farm that wants to re-snowball, so G2 actually getting a tower is at least something for them right now. But obviously the problem is TSM only has that mid tower left, and if they can start grouping with the Jayce, then it's hard to defend.
Right, the big problem becomes after the last outer turret goes down, that's when the flood of wards come in, the vid comes in, and you start to be starved of your income on your side of the map. G2 right now, they're making an offensive move up here into the blue quadrant.
All right, team members heavy up in the top lane. Biofrost making his way up to help out Haunter. And as it stands, G2 now deciding to reassign, at least thinking about it, looking at the minimap. Sven, Trick, Mythic keep running up and down that top half of the map.
Due to TSM aiming for that second tower, they obviously got to recall a bit later. G2 got back to their lane, pushed out, so they're actually now forcing TSM to defend, which is good from Sven and Mythic. But it will only last for a few seconds, and then we go back to TSM having pressure.
Exactly. At the moment, every move that the G2 can make offensively to make TSM break up and not go for that mid turret, every moment they delay TSM taking down the mid turret saves them some income.
All right, Expect has managed to find out Svenskeren. Svenskeren uses the root caller, flashes away from the shockwave. Daisy buying some time, but that's at least a summer spell for the ultimate.
And it's another offensive move that are now forcing TSM to play a bit more passive, as Kobe just highlighted right now. And it's a small little thing of just trying to buy a bit more time, but they gotta be careful.
Oh, got very careful. Biofrost gets caught by the barrel roll. He's already flashed. Strangled for to buy some time, and so will Daisy. Everybody's knocked into the air. G2 Esports into try.
He ate Daisy counter.
Team Solo Mid are able to reply. That ultimate from Biofrost for just enough time. Man, you can cut the tension in the air with knife. It's 15 minutes into the game. 1,500 goals still in favor of the early game team that has made early game plays. Team Solo still maintaining lead.
And remember, G2's last offensive move was into the blue quadrant, so they did leave behind a couple of scattered wards. And if there was going to be a play to be made, it would be in that area. Turtle currently by himself up in that top area. Anything that deep is a little bit too much, because we're talking about making offensive moves to delay the pressure on the turret. If you overcommit like that in TSM territory, that's where the big opening does come from.
Yeah, you don't really want to fight around, Bjergsen if you're GT Esports, because then you fight against the strongest member right now. This Jayce here performing so extremely well on the lane. So if they can actually just try and fight around him, that's good. But obviously Bjergsen mid can move first, and he will be able to join a potential skirmish on the side.
Those skirmishes on the side going to get more interesting as redemption is complete for Svenskeren.
Drake coming up in 10 seconds would be a natural lure to some sort of confrontation here, but it doesn't look like G2 are even positioning themselves for any sort of confrontation, as they've set their bottom lane up to the top side. So TSM will be able to get the extra regeneration.
And there's way too few control wards G2 right now. Look at the defensive vision from TSM compared to G2 with the red wards on the minimap. They also just gone back. They didn't actually get anything on the Mythian. One ward from his back.
And I have to say, this is a very good Drake for a team that has so much siege. If Barrack Qs, the Jayce Qs, and the Gyro poke are all continuously going out under the turret, then you can just back up and regenerate after the siege. So that's not terrible. Even though you would love, Infernals for extra damage, Ocean not too shabby.
All right. Now, there are two plays here for TSM. One is that you use Wild Turtle and his support to push out a side lane, invade the jungle for vision near that lane you just put, and then see if you can thread Perkz in mid to get damage on the tower. The other option is you take Bjergsen and put him on side lane because he's the strongest player right now in the game, and use his one-on-one pressure to just kind of push in that lane and see if maybe you can then use him roam around the map.
And I think there still is the possibility of bringing to brunt all of TSM's offensive tools that are just hitting their peaks now. This is a level 11 rumble that's just itching to use Equalizer. If they could converge on the mid lane and pry the map open that way, that would be a very big victory for them. A lot of defensive vision for G2 though, trying to see it coming.
They went with option number one inside of TSM. They used AD carry support to push out the top lane. That could mid now for the poke.
Gigantic shock loss, tags Perkz. That means he's forced to back away. Shockwave to try and clear out the way. Wild Turtle is tagged up, takes a lot of damage, and Daisy's chunked down. Dashes away from the chain of corruption, but the tower loses 50% HP.
And you can keep doing this if you're TSM. You got plenty of time still where you have some insanely strong poke. Wild Turtle back to the top lane. Push it out again, past the river. Then you can move down the river where you have your defensive vision, and you can get to that mid lane before G2, because remember, someone from G2 has to always stay in the side lane and kill that wave and push towards them.
As it stands, we're getting closer to 20 minutes. The lead still in favor of Team Solo mid. Trick has been power farming like a monster. Still even on gold with Svenskeren, despite being a tower behind and an assist behind. And there are some first items being cleaved for G2 already. Knock on in the mid lane. Bird Visage, and look at this pressure here mid.
TSM should continue pressuring.
Ben cannot afford to get caught like that. He's burning down, stays alive. He does not. Firefrost takes him down.
I'm pretty sure Svenskeren just landed a trigger seed from overall that kept him in place, and he's dead now though.
While Svenskeren gets bounced backwards, the power shot takes him down with the help of a love by Perkz. The tower falls in favor of TSM.
Yeah, and this is still a fine trade TSM because they get the tower. That's the important one. That trigger seed though from Svenskeren kept Sven in place, I think, on the Equalizer.
Have to be very careful about getting extra kills over when they go for these objectives though. TSM, they had so much of an advantage. It cost them very much to actually knock that one out. Here's another look at the Equalizer on Sven, and it was Biofrost able to keep him there.
It was his route, and then his trick who got hit with that.
Meanwhile, Sven actually going the super dangerous route around here, and he gets heavily punished.
That was a good combo by Expecto. He actually threw up the ulti and then body slammed, so he stunned Svenskeren while his ulti was already in the air. That's why Svenskeren couldn't flash out in time.
And I'm going to go back to something that gentleman mentioned in Pick's Bands, that Sven needs to be on point. He cannot afford to get caught by CC, cannot afford to be locked down. And he ate that grasping roots from Firefrost, which allowed TSM to just knock the tower.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back to pick ban. I mean, G2, part of their pick ban strategy is to rely on TSM mistakes in this mid-game. This is where they're looking for them. This is where G2 are looking for the extra farm and the extra couple kills that they're able to snag away as TSM take these objectives.
Need to see G2 get rid of some of those Dorn's rings right now. You need to just step control wards because TSM are gonna push the lane, take over your jungle. If you can't deny some of the vision back, you're gonna just play TSM's game.
TSM coming up on some more spikes here. Svenskeren and Bjergsen had already been completed. As soon as you combine that with Locket, it just becomes a very overwhelming team fight force. And the grouping for TSM would really be hard to deal with for G2.
Well, G2 going to have to find an answer. It's a reminder of Team Solo Mid continue this trajectory and close out the game. It will secure that third seed in the playoffs. G2, on the other hand, win here keeps their hopes alive. However, it will set them up for some tiebreaker scenarios, and then we need to refer to the rulebook and the records to see how far G2 can go.
We're gonna see that play, you know, invade into the jungle from TSM, get vision. Baron is your objective, not really tier 2 towers at this point. You just want to force G2 to play without any vision.
Exactly. Step 2 part of the process that we talked about, we're focusing the mid lane, then going into the jungle, and they're doing it here. Little bit of a move to clear out some of the defense wards that G2 have set up for their secondary turrets.
You don't have any control wards in return as G2. Those wards, TSM are gonna stay in there.
There is a control ward for G2. One lone control ward in the tri-bush behind the TSM, but they've swapped over mid lane.
All right, and that shockwave to try to clear up the way. The Sunchain Corruption catches Thrig. Mithy says, stand behind me, brother. He manages to block some of the damage. Team Solo Mid still not relenting on mid lane.
I like this play though, just to get some damage on that mid tower. They know they can't just burst it down, but at least poke it, poke it, poke it. If you don't want to right now, allow G2 to just sit, you know, and clear the wards and scale. Spec getting cornered.
He has indeed. Stranglethorn's flashed away from. There's no follow-up damage just yet. Svenskeren is looking for Root Caller potentially, but decided to pull the trigger.
Good snare landing, not letting expect it any closer. A little bit more, you know, favorable RNG for G2 as the next Drake is a Cloud Drake.
Sure. Obviously, Clouds get really annoying if you get multiple ones, but because G2 actually picked up the first, giving one over to them does not matter at all.
There is a sense of beautiful irony that in NA versus EU we've had 2 Cloud Drakes in Ocean so far, both of them being slits.
Exactly. I mean, obviously TSM would love for even a Mountain or an Inferno, but they'll happily take this one for a quicker respawn of the next. G2 taking this opportunity to go in and take some of the Baron vision away.
Just because I know it excites the fishy, the next dragon is Infernal. A spicy dragon as we get closer to the mid game, and some of these potential team fights as we get closer, 25, 30 minutes in.
And the team fights, when we're leading up to these team fights, you have to account for all flashes. Remember the importance that we talked about for Expect and the Grog and Ultimate? We've seen it a couple times here where Turtle got picked off with it, Svenskeren got picked off with it. Those are the kills here and the extra advantage that G2 have been getting. If the flashes are ready for those players, then they will be able to flash.
Okay, so G2 picked a scaling comp. We're almost 25 minutes in. There's 2 items completed on actually nearly everybody here.
Yep.
It's only a 2,000 gold lead. Chain of Corruption flashed away from. Respect there from Flash, but it means it's down for the next fight. Is this where G2 starts to become scarier?
I mean, 100%, you have 2 out completed and you're not too down in gold, but there's still time for TSM to set up a Baron and maybe catch Trick.
Oh, Trick has been called out. Absolute zero begins to be channeled. Mithy has got one direction to fire that Glacial Fissure. He holds onto the trigger for now.
Good job by TSM, actually drawing out the cooldown and then disengaging right afterward. Shockwave doesn't hit any members, but does clear out some minions.
2 ultimates not available for G2.
And Haunter the whole time is pushing up on the bottom side. They can swap over very quickly.
Yeah, this is a really good move over because Expect wants to go down and try and kill the wave, but TSM just takes, you know, this is our jungle. You have to take the long route around. Now you're here trying to defend.
Remember that Ben's flash is down on Caitlyn, and TSM should be fusing above Bio.
Bioboss gets bounced under the tap. Stranglethorns will buy a lot of time, and the Equalizer cuts off the tree path. Mithy and Trick are down! Double kill for Bjergsen! North America erupts in elation. Team Solo Mid get the 2.
Yeah, G2 Esports had no reason to actually engage. They just want to kill the wave and wait. But they went in for the aggressive play, set up the fight, allowed TSM now to pick up some kills and probably the tower.
There'll be a lot of damage onto Bio.
Oh, no.
What is doing his absolute utmost. Expect is looking for a body slam target, but he will not find it. The tower stands, but Bjergsen 3-0-1 on that case.
So all three Tier 2 towers now have been quite some damage, down near the 50% mark. No advantage for TSM yet because of those, but again, one little mistake, then a good rotation from TSM, and they can take 2 towers easily and just get a much bigger goal lead.
Exactly. TSM should have no problem getting all 3 lanes pushing in their favor, and then be the ones to make the first move. We did see Biofrost the target of that last ultimate from Expect for the Gragas, so he is the only one with that flash down that they would want to punish in the next team fight, and he's not actually the crucial one. Even if he gets knocked in, he gets his ult off. Take a look at it here.
Do engage in, Sven is not even close. He's the man you're bumping up with your combat. Perkz use Shockwave mid. So I really think this engage is not very smart. I'd much rather see Gragas ulti used to kill the minions and stop TSM from pushing in and wait for your AD carry, wait for your cooldowns. 2 kills right now to Bjergsen.
And where was the counter on Daisy there, Deficio? Daisy got the key knock up to keep them on the equalizer and place for the shock blast. MVP.
We agree, Kobe. We agree.
Daisy Iron.
MVP Daisy. Sven's Garen doing some work. 0-1 and 3. He got that Locker Complete redemption as well. 2 stacks. Dark Seal will get a little bit more AP as the game continues to scale. And TSM, they just extend this lead. They extend control and they maintain vision superiority.
Trying to see if they gang Expect. He already left though. His tower is very low. Right now TSM set up their vision around Baron. That is a very good objective for them to try and force around. They can use Daisy, of course, as well near it, but these towers here are still looking so juicy and so low. TSM just won't go in and finish them.
You talked about vision. I only need 2 control wards in G2's inventory. This tower in the bottom lane will get taken down while Turtle finishes it off. And then for Auto, a couple of Doran's rings, some small, very cheap items from G2, but not investing in vision. They're hemorrhaging gold, they're hemorrhaging the lead. It's 5,000 down. TSM may get another uncontested tower if this mid lane makes a difference now.
Yeah, these were the small rotations we talked about. G2 to go into the river to try and get some wards back, or at least kill some wards. They actually missed the one at Baron. While 2, not hit that one.
Perkz is moving very forward, looking for a potential body slam flash or ulti engage. Got that available to him. G2, they shove that mid lane back.
Have to really watch out for the snares. If G2 are going to make a big move like that, you know, either the Zara or the Ivern can set up a very big equalizer. There's a lot of damage on TSM that could come through to anyone who does get caught by that. They're all eyes on the Gragas ultimate though.
TSM's reset. Zara back to base for more ward. G2 actually pushing up, feeling a bit confident. No flash on 10, so they have to respect that. They just want to wait, because there's like 2,400 gold right now on Caitlyn. And while we're looking at different members now, it's definitely Sven we're looking at the late game. TSM really want to get a Baron, preferably before 30 minutes, and use that to get a big advantage.
A lot of unspent gold on both sides of the rim. Perkz is burned alive by the equalizer. He manages Ghost to safety though. Team solo mid. Push G2 back into their quadrants.
Yeah, I think what we have to do here is push an extra wave and then retreat into the Infernal Drake, because the Infernal Drake is actually a very big rise.
Especially at this stage of the game. Basically everyone on TSM is going to benefit from that AD and AP. Team solo mid should be able to pick this one up uncontested. Look at the minimap. G2, they go spin, go in a shot. The resetting is, this is just like the first round.
It is.
All over again.
Except TSM had like a 1,000 gold lead at this point.
This
the game should be over.
Improvement for G2.
Oh, and congratulations, you're only down like, what, 4K right now. Luckily though for them, as Kobe highlighted earlier, it's only one Infernal Drake. That's it. Next Drake is Elder Drake. So they're fine sacrificing these Drakes right now. 4 more items on Sven.
And that's Elder Drake just after 35 minutes as it's going to proc. So it's 30 minutes into game. Team solo mid, they got the bottom in at G2. They're rushing Baron.
They're definitely rushing for it. Redemption comes in, but G2 should be able to power it.
Look at the mini-map. Team solo mid are nowhere around. They did this earlier. Get Flash Wolf. Baron is secured. It's consumed and smited down. Everyone, 1, 2, flash away. Shockwave goes down. Perkz follows after. Equalizer from Horn says few seconds away. Team solo mid looking to continue this fight.
TSM wants the mid tower. Good ult here from Hunter to zone G2 away. Small pride though, but they want something at least.
Exactly, that was such a huge, huge boom from G2.
All right, Chick is trying to defend the tower. Gets a good channel on
Almost taking the tower.
It doesn't do a lot. A lot of damage onto Haunter. Chain of fraction starts to spread. Expect uses the ultimate defensively. Europe get Baron. North America get a tower.
TSM gave up one of these very big mid-game Barons versus their game with Flash Wolves as well. And Flash Wolves got a 5,500 Baron power play off of that.
That's what G2 are going to need to just even out this goal difference. Quickly taking a look, it is a Rage third item there for Wild Turtle. Void Star pick up for Haunter. After Leandri's and Hourglass, he's going all in on the deeps.
I like the Rage Blade here, because you're not really going to be under threat if you're a Wild Turtle. It's very good against these tanks where you get a ton of auto attacks off.
The other thing about getting this Baron here, there's so many turrets left standing because G2 have been farming on defense for so long. It has the potential to have one of those very big, Baron power plays we saw before.
It's crazy that TSM 2 games in a row will make this mistake where they all recall. They're so far away from Baron with 5 members alive in the late game.
Especially when you consider their 15 to 20 minutes of vision control leading up to it. It had been flawless the entirety of this game. And one simple misstep allowed G2 back in. All right, G2 took down top outer turret, and they've enabled ARAM mode. Gonna start grouping around the mid lane. Now they want to take down the mid outer turret from TSM.
Sven is once again now on 1,500 gold. Like this guy just keep getting more and more farm. Bloodboy will be there for him as well. At this point, TSM can still win fights, but they're respecting G2. They're giving up another tower now.
To take the third tower of the game. They're not done with the siege. A minute and a half.
This is risky though. There's again a lot of gold on the carries of G2. They don't actually see Hanzo. They're going in.
Chain of corruption starting to spread, and the shockwave whips. It finds nobody. Sven is being burned alive as Haunter goes gold attacks the Hourglass. 1, 2 members of G2 under pressure. Sven's got a lot of damage which he's putting down into Haunter. It is just Trick that goes down.
Huge engage over the wall from TSM, and they got them on the run though. Bjergsen still chasing Sven. Extra speed from Perkz, they should be able to retreat.
As distance can help them out. G2 maybe a little lucky to get away with just a single man down. Easy body block, body slam. And G2 Esports are now on the defensive.
You just see that fight again where the equalizer came down to Hanzo because he did not get to hit Sven. Hanzo then flat over the wall as well to try to take the one-on-one fight. Had to an Hourglass. But now they're pushing up without that jungler again. G2 are feeling very confident, maybe too confident.
Except that they don't want to rely on cooldowns. They've got the auto attacker here, and all of these big ultimates and the Zonias you mentioned, very key cooldowns from TSM. That's the reason G2 are trying to get more out of this.
They're still sitting with 2,000 gold on the 80 carry to protect the 80 carry comp. I think they wisely now step away. Reset once again. They have not lost an inhibitor. No turret really going down in the base. So they don't actually see Hunter or Bifrost. Nice ulti from Wild Turtle. Hunter's equalizer comes in. Only 3 attacks onto mid there at first. And then Sven is okay.
Huge disengage there as well. TSM, as we said, used a lot to get that one off. See the damage charge as well. Turtle is coming through from that back line in addition to landing his ultimate to get this one all started off.
G2 Esports now. Baron has worn off. And taking a look at some of the Bloodthirsty completed. By the way, Knight's Vow as you'd expect for a little while. Leandri's also for Bifrost and the Ardent Sensor for Defense Karen. So TSM are super heavily committed to this damaged glass cannon style.
And of course we have Europe versus North America. Last day of the MSI group stage. G2 Esports will drop out of the tournament if they lose. We get this nail by now, 34 minutes in. Very even in gold. And one mistake from either team and just lose the entire thing.
An Elder Dragon coming up. G2 with the first position in the river. TSM should move in shortly, but there's no way you can clean out Scuttle Crab, and a good move there by G2. Buy themselves a little bit of time.
Looking at the vision, TSM still with some deep wards inside G2 side of the map. And summon a spell, no flash. Sven Perkz will be available by the time the fight ensues.
And even though there is no flash on Sven, and you have to have your eyes Haunter's equalizer going directly for Sven, you cannot forget about the Orianna ball. Shockwave this late in the game can change it.
Oh, Trick already channeled. Insta-cancel. on the absolute zero.
Turtles in
get
though.
pulled into the wall. Wild Turtles get tagged. A lot of damage. Mythy's being burned down and killed. G2 in a 4-5. Make that a 3-5. Expect burned alive. Elder for TSM.
Yeah, TSM has got absolutely everything. Trick ran in, did absolutely nothing but waste his ulti. Perkz' shot didn't do a whole lot either. While we saw Wild Turtle in the middle of the fight, he flashed out. All G2 get in return now is a tower. Big advantage for TSM. And Baron is running in 1 minute 20 seconds. They still have the Eldrake buff when the Baron is alive.
Definitely going to be crucial as they have 3 elemental drakes to themselves from the early game. Got to think about grabbing that Scuttle Crab as well before retreating. Baron only a minute away, as you said.
And they're gonna play right there. Again, been the reason G2 have lost quite a lot of games. It's when they finally get to big game and they start playing team fight. They're so far down that if they make one of those mistakes, they lose so much. They just did it right here. Trick just running in, wasting everything, and him and Mythy going down.
Exactly. Even though G2 have such a beefy front line with all those 3 members, as you said, Trevor, TSM have so many DPS. If there is no space for Sven to get off his auto attacks, there's no counter damage coming through, then all the thinking here doesn't mean anything. Trick loses a lot of zoning power very early on.
And G2 then says, you know what, we can still try and fight. While they hit one turtle, they can't actually follow up.
And Sven only got maybe 3 auto attacks off in that team fight. If your AD carry with the blood belt can only get off 3, that is not going to be the way to take a victory.
And now G2 needs to protect Elder Drake buff. They step back. They give the river over to TSM. This now means G2 will have to blindly face check to stop a Baron.
And crucially, for this next team fight that will make or break it, both Perkz and Ben will have double summoners up. These are the 2 G2 that you have to focus.
For TSM, are going to set their sights. I'm looking at the vision. They can toggle. G2 need to move into the jungle block. Luckily for them, they can still see TSM, Wild Turtle on top of a ward.
But this Rageblade boss here, he's a threat when it comes to 2-manning Baron as well. In case G2 don't actually see more than just a few guys, they should expect Baron to then be started. Ivan as well can start it up. That's what TSM have been doing right now. Bjergsen instead of one turtle though.
Daisy thinking right now, Bjergsen trying to do the damage, but that ward should dissuade them from committing.
Daisy gets chunked down real low. 400 hit point for a potential fight to ensue. All summoners, except for Trick's flash available on the G2 side. Wild Turtle, no flash available. Cannot afford to pull a Wild Turtle and get caught out by G2.
Also, though, you have to worry about G2 to funnel through this jungle corridor. That's perfect space for an equalizer. And just the equalizer from Hunter, it should be aimed at getting those summoners off of Perkz and off of Sven.
Look at the minimap. G2 are happy to play a waiting game. Bottom pushing heavily towards TSM. There's no vision in the pit. Just toggled on full vision. You can see Benjamin started.
So they start the Baron right now. 2 Esports fighting in the jungle. They have a trap over. No, the Baron is activated. That's good ulti.
Gain of corruption onto Mythy and Beck. Glacial Fish is not really going to do a lot. Mythy stays alive for a few seconds longer. Equalizer not been fired yet by Haunter.
The large health advantages. 2 of G2's tanks have been chunked very heavily. Small advantage there for TSM now, looking to capitalize on top of it.
Trick also has no flash to get over the wall. Perkz does. So there needs to be a magic shot. Teleport coming in from Expect.
Oh, here goes 3,000 health on that Baron.
Oh, this is so scary. Shockwave and piercing arrow flying across G2. Sven with some vision. He's tagging Baron. 2,500 hit point. Built over Peacemaker goes out. Watch the AB. Secured by Team Solo Mid. Expect forced retreat.
Shockwave was also used to attempt to steal it there, so it won't be there if they decide to pressure. That's not going to be the case, though. Big wave down bot. This is a very crucial Baron buff for TSM to see if they can actually get inside the inhibitor turret line.
Just a few seconds of flash from Trick here. Didn't get up in time. I think TSM did the timing, but again, we're expecting the damage from Perkz. Timed with maybe an ulti from Gragas. Like at this point, after you already lost one to Syndra last game, you don't want to risk someone else stealing that Baron.
Exactly. A Shockwave plus a Dissonance can do more than 1,000 damage, more than this might could do at this stage in the game with 4 items on that Orianna.
And now we're looking at that big moment for TSM to say, okay, yes, we've gone late game, but we secured Elder. That's gone now. We got Baron buff this time around. we need to get in that base and get an inhibitor down on you so we can keep that pressure going. Because right now, Sven just lit his 4th item. Like, we are hitting full late game very soon.
And no room for error for Team Solo Mid. Make
Or G2.
or break. Team Solo Mid on the verge of securing the 3rd seed. If they can use this Baron buff to break open the base and set themselves up to knock for the Nexus. It's 40 minutes into game time. It is a 7,000 gold lead. And only one death on the side of Team Solo Mid. They've maintained control for the majority of the game. He thwarted off the Baron buff from G2, which simply evened out the mid stages. TSM, 2 very, very good games on the last day of groups here.
All right, secondary trade, not a large objective. TSM will power through that, and then we get to the real test very soon here. Keep your eyes on the summoner's bows, and crucial ultimates are available. Everybody has all tools that they will need for this team fight. Comes down to execution in the high pressure situation.
All right, G2 in the mid lane, their chosen lane is TSM. Switcheroo around, shoved in top, now they shoved in bottom. We keep talking about vision. Vision has been a crucial topic all game long. G2 have had a control ward in the bottom lane for what feels like 20 or 25 minutes. I only point that out because it means no one's replaced it or used it in a more effective location.
I mean, Perkz right now is sitting with the Doran's ring still, 41 minutes into the game, instead of getting vision. Poncer, greedy path here, needs a flash, could be huge for a fight. Time pushing in though.
Right, Wild Turtle steps forward, stands on a trap and takes an ice blast that does nothing to him. Chick is now moving forward. Here comes Expect. Glacial Fishman thrown in. Chain of Eruption starting to spread. Sven remains untouched. The Redemptions come down and the tower stays alive.
This is how nervous both teams are about this crucial team fight. Not willing for a full commit there. Haunter was in the bottom lane. TSM hold onto their teleport and just retreat.
Everyone is sitting home right now. Just being like, oh my god, it is so close. You said earlier, Kobe, this is where the superstars really step up.
Clutch plays.
Sven is one of those superstars. Perkz is another one. If we look at G2, Haunter, Bjergsen on the side of TSM.
Can G2 pull another miracle? Done it a few times this tournament, bouncing back from behind. But today's TSM does not feel like the same team that made the mistakes over the past 4 days. They have played clean and well. The majority of the same, with the exception of those Baron vision calls.
And at this point, the goal lead just really matters, because in terms of just effective items and composition and the scaling, it is just even right now. Because as you can see, barely anyone has fully completed all their items. They're just almost at that number 5.
I mean, Rylai's Crystal Scepter, Biofrost, Death Cap, Haunter's Rumble. Seems like a long time since I've seen that one. Team Solo Mid, they want to just explode G2, destroy Europe's hopes. And remember, G2, they started, they said it. Believe in us, give us a chance. We'll show up on the international stage. And they haven't really done it here at MSI in groups.
Meanwhile, for TSM, living a little bit even in the shadow of CLG for once in the team's history because of the accomplishments at MSI last year. They are the ones to make it here and looking to make North America proud.
And the LCS takes again. That's what TSM are looking to do. 4 wins, 5 losses. They end with a 5-0. All right, lane assignment set up. Haunter's in the bottom. Teleport is available to him. Baron has worn off. Over a minute and a half from Elder Drake. So TSM, not the most effective Baron, but it did strangle G2 into base. They simply cannot leave yet.
Well, against TSM, they understand they can just go here. It's Haunter, no flash!
Remember, he had no flash on the greedy pathing earlier. Equalizer comes down and Expect takes him down.
He doesn't get his Zonias off either to buy any sort of time. So this takes all of the wind out of TSM sails at the moment. They have to wait for his resurrection to be able to use teleport.
It might actually not be the worst thing that he didn't use Hourglass, because he wanted to die quickly so he could respawn for Elder Drake. Because now he's actually alive at 40 seconds, Elder Drake alive at 52 seconds.
And that is a death 4 minutes or 3 minutes in the making. One greedy path decision from Haunter costs a flash. Another greedy pathing decision costs his life. And now G2 are alleviating the pressure slightly, buying a little bit more time. This game is just balancing on a knife edge. One mistake from either team could cost it.
And the setup could be crucial here. When we talk about the initial objectives, those are what draw teams through the jungle corridors. If there is vision for G2 set up, they could, not funnel through a really bad equalizer for themselves. But the vision right now actually still up for grabs.
And now we have to look at wards around it or teleport as well, Kobe. There's a ward just in the river that G2 can kill. There's one ward really far back in the base. That's obviously not really a good location for Haunter. But as a Rumble, you don't really want to flank TP anyway. Elder Drake being started. Same thing at this point. Just get it down.
All right, where is Haunter? He doesn't need to TP or make it in. They come down, expect his target, absolute zero. Is not channeled from Trick. He's stuck inside the pit. Looking for that one. Redemption comes down to heal up Trick. The barrel splits up Wild Turtle for a few seconds longer, but the Elder seems to be the focus. Down to 2,000. Who's going to pick it up? It's secured by G2. The Nunu, the Consume Spike combo. Now Wild Turtle is being burned alive. The long range auto attack from Spin as he knocked into the end. Spec goes down. 50 jumps in. Throws out the Glacial Fisher. G2, the shockwave whips. Perkz missed it. Team Solomon get the kill. G2 get the dragon.
Yep, nice combo there from Trick to be able to secure that Drake. Sven Garen is down there, and there's no smite for TSM on the Baron attack.
Well, they can't go for Baron then. They have to just wait and try and bait it. That's what they're doing right now. Trick is checking. A lot of things again. Missing left and right. There's so much action going on. The shockwave from Perkz did not connect. And Expect, again, true. Expect felt so confident with the Elder Drake. He just rushed forward. Actually got knocked up by the last part of Zyra ulti. So he ended up dying in return as well.
I just want to really re-emphasize how important that cure on the Elder Dragon was for G2 though. Remember the triple elemental base for TSM in position to pressure that fight. They had already taken down the Guardian Angel.
And now tables turned. Last time it was TSM with the Elder Drake getting Baron. Now G2 with the Elder Drake, who can actually then say, you know what? If you start that Baron, we will fight you with the buff, and they shouldn't be able to win if you're on the side of TSM. But they're trying to bait it again, because the wards for G2 are simply not in a place to actually spot what's happening in the river.
Control wards were picked up. Trick had 3 of them leading up to the Elder Dragon. He's used all of them. G2 still have to contest, go use some darkness. As Haunter and Bjergsen use the acceleration to escape mid lane. Trick gets tagged up. Leans by grasping roots for now, and Hail of Arrow comes down. TSM, they've lost positioning on the Baron, but they've got the Scuttle, which is about to wear off.
A fully operational, full item Elder Dragon buff. Oh, just time now.
Hey, the frontline Caitlyn, that's what Sven's playing right now. Chasing Garen. One auto took around 600 hit points from
And
it.
here it goes. Neither team wants to go through these little corridors, but TSM have to go over traps now.
All right, Desi. Look at Finn. He's been bursted down on the attack in the distance. Baron is helping out TSM. So the equalizer. Daisy seems to be the focus. G2 wants their cupcake. Consume and Smite is available. Needs to be taken down. The Baron's a focus and Trick.
Oh my God. How did he view it?
By Expect.
It's generated. TSM now pushing up the mid-wave while the Baron inbound recalls are channeled for G2.
Deficio almost had a heart attack as Elder Dragon wears off. G2 secure another Baron. It's 15 minutes in.
Yeah, it's just because Trick actually did use his sight to Baron ended at 100 HP. And he was not under pressure. That was one of those moments where you're going to cost your team almost everything. But with full late game.
Maybe full late game for 15 minutes.
Well, now we act full late game because there are full items on Sven and Perkz. Same for Bjergsen.
Full yet.
You want more, Khabib?
Are you not entertained? TSM now have to fend off G2, who will take their 5th tower of the game. 2.5 minutes on Baron, and TSM, they have to defend. Fitzgerald's on top of the explosive cock. He goes down, then takes him out. A 5-man knockout from the Strangleforce will not deter G2. North America in a 5-on-4. You the equalizer. That shockwave connects. Wild Turtle and Bioshock are forced away from tower, and G2 continue to siege.
This is huge momentum for G2. They're inside the base.
The base towers are down. The Nexus is the focus. Sven continues to play on the front foot. 45 seconds before Garen comes alive. G2, they're not done with the siege.
Oh, they're getting a bit greedy right now. Jake is low.
Bjergsen, expect and Perkz catch him out. Also flashes for Flame Splitter. Redemption comes down. Heal up G2. And now the Nexus turrets on the focus.
So many crucial flashes used here. G2 are able to get first Nexus turret.
But Bjergsen wants to try to defend, wants to stop G2. G2 are flying into the hype, the craziness, the chaos. They're not stopping.
G2 right now has a late game comp. They don't need to risk it all on this play right now, but they're staying. They're so low on HP.
The confidence is there. Bjergsen's caught up. He's back. He's down. The Burger King is down. Wild Turtle was immediately after. G2 Esports have killed Team Somid. They've routed them. They've aced them. G2 Esports, they're taking down the Nexus turret. Stun Team Solo Mid. And G2's shot at International Redemption stays alive.
G2 Esports.